Hello. Good evening. I'm Matt from Cosmic. Thanks for the intro. So if you've not heard of Cosmic, we're a social enterprise. We're based in Honiton over in Devon, do a lot of work in Somerset, a lot of work in Devon and throughout the southwest as well. We've been running for about 26, 27 years, and we deliver free training to clients. We have a number of contracts which we're delivering at the moment. Mentioned a couple earlier on. We also have a web team, so we build websites, and we have a tech team as well, which support a number of businesses with their infrastructure. This is the first time I've done this presentation. It's a colleague's presentation, so excuse me if I'm a little rusty with this one. But we're going to talk about future-proofing your business, integrating AI into digital strategies and enhancing workforce skills, which is a bit of a mouthful. But essentially, it's about businesses taking the next step. Then maybe they've experimented with AI. This is about incorporating AI into the business in a more strategic fashion. So I think we're all aware of generative AI, especially everybody put their hands up earlier on. So it's really about taking that technology, incorporating it into the business, jumping on all of that excitement, that buzz, and actually doing something substantive with that technology as well. So CEOs, chief executives are asking that question. What do we actually do? What are the opportunities to pursue? How do we go about integrating this technology into our business in a meaningful way? Bearing in mind who we are, what we do, what opportunities there are for the future. Also, taking on board what's going to happen to the current workforce as well. So lots of questions to unpack there as well. So on with the first slide. So generative AI is often referred to as the fourth industrial revolution. It's here to stay. The genie is out of the bottle. Pandora's box has been opened. There's no way we're putting it back in there as well. So we need to embrace this revolution. We need to look at our capabilities within the business to embrace it. And command a competitive edge over our competitors as well. It offers unprecedented opportunity to address global key challenges. Businesses cannot wait on the sidelines. We work with a lot of businesses that are taking the first tentative steps with AI. And I guess my kind of main takeaway from that is that a lot of them are using it a bit like a search engine at the moment. So I'm talking about tools like ChatGPT. They're asking very basic questions. They don't really understand prompt engineering. They don't understand the scope and the scale of things that you can do with it. So I'm having some amazing sessions with clients at the moment. Half of them are just blown away by it. Half of them are pretty scared by it, I would say. But it's a really interesting time at the moment in training, which is what I spend most of my day doing. Those that transform their business models with Gen AI will obviously be more innovative. They'll be more resilient. They'll have more capabilities within the business. Like David, described very well earlier on. So why integrate AI into your digital strategies? A business's ability to embrace generative AI will determine whether it thrives, whether it survives, and this all starts with strategy. And the management team's ability, or the senior team's ability within the business to grasp AI, the concept of generative AI, what it can do for the business is absolutely fundamental with any organization. They need to set the culture. They need to create a vision that allows an organization to leverage the opportunities that generative AI presents. Successful AI adoption requires transformational thinking within any business, moving from curiosity to capability, or interest to action, strategic planning, talent development, all of these things. AI and AI-aware culture, they're all paramount, all fundamental to reaping the benefits of AI, which would affect the majority of organizations. There's always something you can probably do with using AI a little bit more efficiently, a little bit better. Again, David was a great example of that with him and his business. Similar to David, I have dyslexia as well. And it's been absolutely revolutionary for myself just to be able to, I feel much more confident in my written work, which was always a bit of a problem. Stand up in front of and talk in front of a few people, I'm kind of okay with. Write a report, forget about it. My worst fear. So AI has helped me out no end, and it's been great over the past few months. We've done a lot more training with businesses on AI recently. It's great to see them adopt that technology and the kind of spark in their eyes as they grasp the benefits there. So that strategy is going to rely on the skills, the awareness throughout the organisation, starting at the top and working its way down. Be that a board, MDs, chief executive, whoever the top team is, it's got to start with them, and they need to be able to grasp the concept, reimagine the possibilities of using Gen AI within their business. Kind of throw everything off the table, start again in some respects, but really start with that blank piece of paper. I always say that to clients: don't worry too much about the technologies in relation to AI. It could be in relation to any technology. Talk about where you want to go. What are the objectives? What are you trying to achieve? The technology will come a little bit later. Start with a blank piece of paper. What would your business look like today if you were starting it? Currently, there is an awareness gap. In groups like this, people meeting together, organisations like Digital Somerset are spreading the message, which is great. But there is a gap of awareness about AI and what it can actually do and what it means for businesses in the future. So rethinking your business, revamping your business strategy with generative AI is a crucial step to take. It's going to fundamentally change how businesses operate, offering a big edge, a unique edge over the competition. Making them obviously much more competitive, impacting on everything from revenue, growth to customer experience and talent management. So it really does touch on many elements of a business there. Integrating AI into digital strategies. When you're looking at how AI can positively impact your business, looking through your kind of AI lens, you will start to see there's multiple use cases. We've got a few up here: automation of custom services, enhancements in terms of personalization, optimizing workflow, improve customer experience. There's many more. There may be a couple here, maybe all of them that you can kind of look at through your strategy. But like I say, the genie is out of the bottle. It's not going back in. If you don't embrace AI in a meaningful way, you're gonna be in trouble. By 2026, we estimate around about 80% of organisations will be using generative AI in one form or another. That's grown massively. 2023, it wasn't too long ago, 5% of businesses were using it back then. It was kind of in its infancy. It wasn't as well known, but it's obviously going to explode. And because of that rapid increase, top company leaders need to start talking about generative AI a lot more. Totally agree with what David was saying about ethics as well earlier on. Government needs to kind of pick up the mantle with this, obviously. But investors in businesses, they're demanding that businesses start to implement this technology, use this technology, get the benefits from that as quickly as they possibly can. The 3 pillars of generative AI adoption. So this is from the World Economic Forum. So 3 pillars of success. Financial value. So what we're asking here is, which financial value does your organisation aim to generate with generative AI? Essentially, it's what's its purpose in the business? Why are you doing this? Data is absolutely key to the deployment of generative AI. Business leaders need to be, aware of the importance of data. It needs to be clean data. It's something that we're working on at the moment with our business. We've started rolling out Copilot. I suspect most of you have heard of that. MS365 with Copilot, or is it the other way around? I hate the way Microsoft name things. We're suffering from that a little bit at the moment. We need to tidy our house up, shall we say? But I imagine a lot of businesses are in that situation at the moment. It's working well, but it could work better. So we're learning from that as well. And people absolutely critical for generative AI. There's a kind of a saying, isn't there? You won't be replaced by AI. You'll be replaced by somebody who can use AI that much more effectively. And my son's 12, and I'm kind of wondering what work's going to look like for him in the future at the moment, and what his school will do over the 4 or 5 years that he's got remaining there as well. But it's to complement people. I mean, people will lose their jobs. That's going to happen. But in a lot of situations, AI can be used to complement it. Again, David's a great example of that. What he's done with a small team in a very tight timescale is a really good exemplar of how how AI can be deployed within a business as well. But it's the combination of those three things working together that will eventually lead to success for businesses. What do we want to achieve with AI integration or adoption? Understanding what you want to achieve is obviously paramount. Are we looking to deploy it for everyday use, for productivity tasks, improving productivity? Are we looking to actually reshape the business? Are we actually looking to take a kind of another approach to how we deliver our goods and services? Quite radical changes there potentially. Or are we looking for new solutions? Are we trying to be inventive? Create new business offerings, new products, new services, all sorts of things going on there. BCG, the Boston Consulting Group, they've released an article on their website quite recently all about deploying generative AI, how it can provide quick wins. It's available off the shelf. We've heard of products like Copilot. We've heard of products like Jasper, ChatGPT. There's a plethora of products out there with very interesting names. There are some things to consider in terms of setting policy and guidelines for use, starting small to prove the user case, so kind of minimum viable product type approach there as well. Start small, start to validate within the business the use of AI, prove the use case. Obviously important. Think about the digital skill capability as well within the organization and the training you need to provide your teams to maximize the return on investment that you're making in AI, as well as evaluating the costs versus the benefits and considering how many licenses you might need. Not everybody needs licenses, obviously. So again, kind of start small, build your way up, proof of concept. The pressures on businesses are many, huge amount of pressures, especially in this day and age. Increased pace of technology, the rising costs of doing business, all of these obviously have an impact. For a business to keep thriving without always needing more workers, it's crucial to focus on working smarter, performing better and growing efficiently. There's been more digital change in the past 12 months than there has been in the past 5 years. I'm convinced my grandchildren won't believe me when I tell them that we used to drive cars, we used to fly planes. It's going to be such a foreign concept to them. Like me explaining to my son now, there used to be 3 channels and you could only watch what was on the TV. He does not understand that. He cannot get his head around that because that's not his lived experience. He's grown up with the internet. I remember a time before the internet. I remember saying to my mates, I'm never going to get a mobile phone. What do I want people to be able to contact me? I remember going out, meeting someone at 6 o'clock in the pub. If they're not there, they're not there. No real way to get in contact with them. Maybe ring their mum at home, make sure they left, but that was about it. So we are deep into a huge amount of change here. If we kind of cast our minds back to the beginning of the millennium, when the internet was in its infancy, I would say it's moving hellishly quicker pace than the internet. When I was at university, sort of circa 2000, 2003, I had to go to the library to use the internet. So things are moving on a pace, and we're quite poor, I think, about collectively looking at the future and trying to predict what this technology is going to do for us in the next 3 years. Is challenging enough. I don't think anybody's really got a grasp on that. But it also allows generative AI allows the decoupling of growth from labour potentially as well. AI and digital can improve productivity to the extent that growth doesn't require as many process-based staff. There'll be a time in the not too distant future where factories are automated, mainly run by AI. Lots of benefits to that. Obviously, it impacts massively on the staff in those situations. But we need to find other jobs, other opportunities for those people. Logistics will become automated in the future. We won't have lorry drivers. Anybody fancy going into an operating theatre, having a AI-controlled robot operating on them? Probably become the norm before too long. 24/7 surgeries to get ahead of that waiting list on the NHS. We will see. A McKinsey study found that organisations who digitally transformed were able to drive 5 times more revenue growth than their peers. So obviously financial benefits there as well. AI has become much more commonly used. We're all using it in the room. A lot more of my clients are starting to use it. Obviously, it's because we're supporting them with that. But a lot more people within the business and the other organisations that we work with, even the local authorities I've spoken to recently, shockingly. Having worked at a local authority for 15 years, I can say that they're quite behind the times, but quite a few people that I'm still in contact with have started using it. Not too many policies around that at the moment. It's a bit, yeah, it's running a bit behind the technology, and obviously the same nationally and internationally as well there as well. But as AI becomes more commonly used, technological, higher cognitive and social and emotional skills will be in even greater demand than they are now. These skills are already reported as skill shortages, so it's really important that organisations start to look within their businesses, thinking about skilling up. What skills are we going to need in the future? There might be people within completely different teams that have the skill sets that we're going to need for the future as well. So we have to work within the organisation to start to address that. Your skills are a strategic advantage. In the competitive business landscape, understanding them is essential to high productivity, your skills. Better engagement, organisational success. To identify those skills, strengths and skill gaps, it's necessary to conduct a skills audit, and you can kind of do this on yourself as well if you wanted to. But lots of benefits from that. Pinpointing skills gaps, looking for surpluses. That's going to allow you to understand the skills in your organisation, compare that to the future skills that you're going to need. So your organisation can identify any particular gaps that there might be, and there are probably skills that don't even exist yet. We have them, but we don't know how we're going to apply them. So we need to be constantly looking at that as well. Also, with the audit, you can start to improve your workforce planning. So by identifying the skill gaps, you can start to target individuals within the business or bring talent into the business, start to build those competencies within the business that you've identified through your audit, obviously. Succession planning is another element there as well. Boosting employee engagement. Employees feel that their skills are recognised, providing... providing development opportunities as well within the business, increasing productivity and performance as well. So lots of benefits from conducting that audit. We do them quite regularly within the business. It wasn't about 3 weeks ago, I think, that we did that. But that's something that we do a couple of times a year. A lot of our staff are picking up new skills. We do quite a lot of CPD in the business, so important that we keep track of that as well. The key areas to consider then when you're upskilling, potentially upskilling your workforce for using generative AI is the clarity of the skills that's needed, and that's quite difficult at the moment for some businesses. But if you do know them, have you baked them into your job descriptions? Is that something that you're kind of on top of? Have you created a culture where experimentation in real world scenarios is possible? We do a lot of experimentation with new technologies in the business. We teach tech and digital, so it's important for us to stay up to date with that. But our other businesses do that. Have you educated your team on the limitations of AI? It's a fantastic tool, but you can have hallucinations. It can be biased. You shouldn't obviously copy and paste and post stuff that hasn't had the human touch, especially when it comes to things like search engine optimization. Google, Bing, they'll see right through that in no time at all. So it's in terms of content creation, it's great, it gets you to a point, but you still need that human touch. So are your staff aware of that? Do they know how to use AI in the right way? Are they sense checking? Have you educated your teams on data privacy, security? Are there clear guidelines in the business where AI should be used, where it shouldn't be used? What data can you load up into it if you're doing some prompting with data? The key to successful workforce then is combining human skills with AI technology. It's that blend that's going to serve us well in the future. AI can take care of lots of routine tasks. You may be using them as chatbots. You may have automated a few tasks within the business. That will obviously grow over time. But what that allows us to do, and again, it's sort of pointing to David because he's a good example of this. It's allowed David to do more interesting things, I would imagine, spend his time more fruitfully, look at strategy, spend more time face to face with people. But have your employees got the right skills, like prompt engineering, to work effectively with AI? Maybe, maybe not. I'm sure we all know what prompt engineering is. Really important process when it comes to using AI effectively. Again, my experience of working with clients, they kind of know, yeah, we need to ask it questions, but how you ask it questions, how you actually get that kind of two-way conversation going with AI, which is where you get the real value, that kind of iterative approach. Not everybody knows about that. It's not particularly obvious. When I first started using AI, I thought it was rubbish because I was using it like a search engine. I was asking it questions. It was giving me good answers, but I can just get that on Google. Then I did a bit more research and worked out I had no clue about prompt engineering. I was just asking it really basic questions. We developed this acronym at Cosmic. There are lots of similar acronyms online. I'm sure you're very familiar with the principles here: context, action, rewrite, reform. Give the AI a persona of some description, tell it who it's going to be or what situations it's in. Context is really, really, really important. Action, tell it what you want it to do. Be as detailed as possible. Use simple language. I always say to clients, it's like you could have a chat with Albert Einstein. I nearly said Elon Musk then. He's not. I wouldn't suggest that. But if you have a chat with Albert Einstein, smart guy, but you've got to ask him the right questions, right? If you're not asking the right questions in the right way, you're not going to get very, very satisfying answers. So really, really important. And don't be afraid to experiment and rewrite with your prompts as well. Reformat if you need to do that as well. ChatGPT, OpenAI's come out with there's loads of support online around prompting, isn't there? But this was OpenAI's guidance. Include detail in your query, tell the model who you want to impersonate, break down your actions into clearly separate commands, so on and so forth. What these tend to translate into are several methods, several approaches to prompting, which you've probably all used, I would imagine. So you've got chain of thought prompting, you've got few shot prompting where you're introducing information on top of what the model already knows. That could be spreadsheets of data, it could be all sorts of information. Still using the data that's being trained on, but you're giving it clues, you're giving it additional information for its response as well. Or my particular favorite is iterative prompting, where you get that two-way conversation going with the AI. I want to create a prompt, help me with it, ask me a load of questions, and then over time we iterate and we come up with a really detailed prompt, especially if I'm doing like a complex piece of work, like a report for a client or some data analysis. So the key takeaways then: integration of digital skills development into your strategies is absolutely essential. It's here to stay. Generative AI is not going anywhere unless it destroys us all. So always say thank you and please. That's my motto. What guidelines are you putting into place? Strategic planning, skills, culture, all essential for a successful adoption of AI. Upskilling your workforce. There could be kind of latent skills within your workforce that you're not aware of, new skills that you need to train up, new skills that you need to develop. So really important that we do that audit, which is point 5, the skills audit, and then prompt engineering. A new skill to add to your skill list. If you haven't looked into it, please do. It will ensure that you get maximum value out of whatever AI platform you're using. So thank you.